What's going on, everybody? Minus here from Pantheon Plus. We're going to go live here in about, let's give it 2 minutes to get people settled in, say hello. So if you're watching this on demand, skip ahead 2 minutes and we should be good to go. Whew, Theric, thank God you were here with me tonight, sir.
Yeah, my keyboard's worn out. That was a lot of notes.
And I had no time at all to get notes. So thank you for that. I was screen clipping and I made a video in the middle of that so we could have the BlackRock Keep video in the background. You guys will get to see that. I got screenshots from the website. We'll talk about the website. Give us about a couple more minutes here and then we are going to go live with the show. Let me just say some hi. It's Wargoat. What's up? Anxiety. I see you there. Drac Attack. Welcome in as always. Gulu Gulu. Always here. Love it. SN Pantheon. Hello. Alicera. Hello. Thank you for stopping by. I love Alicera. Check her out playing WoW. She's awesome. Hurricane. Yavin Maya. What's up? I know you said we need to catch you up. We'll do our best. Catharis 22. What's up? JJ. I still like WWE more than AEW, JJ. I know that's going to hurt your feelings, but I'm just saying. Let's see who else we have. Bronson. What's going on, my man? Erikai. Hello.
Hey, you know what, Erikai? It's Erikai's birthday today. Don't forget.
It's Erikai's birthday?
It is. He said it in the Discord a few times. I was paying attention.
Erikai, you better come live on the show. Tonight's the night. Clem, what's up?
Birthday,
Skywolf Pack. Soulspite, what is up? We're going to go live here in just another minute, everybody. Alicera's rating. Oh, you're the best. You're here and you're rating. I love it. Everybody give Erikai a big happy birthday. All right, guys, 1 more minute and we are going to go live. Once we hit that 2 minute mark, it's been 1 minute. I got to get another beer. Can I get another beer first, guys? I need a beer for this. I'm getting a beer. There, carry this show.
Yeah. See, I was smart and I went ahead of time and got my beer ahead of time. So I'm halfway done my Heineken already. So we will soon find out what kind of beer Minus is drinking tonight. I'm guessing it's a Michelob.
Are we good?
That's what he drinks.
Did the show burn down? You kept it going?
I did.
All right. Well, with that, let's go ahead and kick this show off. I'm going to go ahead and hit the viewer warning.
Oh, we're live? We're streaming right now? Cool. Awesome, man. Let me just
What is going on, everybody? Minus here from Pantheon Plus. We are officially starting the show. Theric, what is going on? How are you?
I am great. How are you?
All right. Oh, I'm stressed, but now's the easy part. Like once this is all set up, it's go time. Like I got a beer. It's, at this point, I mean, we mess up. Who cares, right? We're set up.
Hard work is done.
Yeah. So, wow. I just want to say thank you to a bunch of people that have been following us for a bit here. Even during the stream, we were getting a lot of like skeleton laughter. You guys will hear that in the background. So we get a follow. You'll see it up in the chat. But I do want to give some shout outs to some people who've, we actually had a lot of people follow us in the last hour. I Game Too Much, Discordant Mind, Soulspite, Azad TV, Clouder Antics, Mad Matt, JJ, Maluk Failure. Yeah. So, and a sub from Soulspite. So, thank you guys so much for following us. We really do appreciate that. This show can't work without the community. That's what the whole show is based on. So let's give a couple, we're going to give a couple housekeeping things as we start the show here. Then I'm going to jump right into the content and we'll go as long as we need to, but the green room is bumping tonight. We have, Drac Attack's been in there for a while. I see Bronson, Nefel, Old Wargoat, Tech Ninja, Vandrad, all in the green room. You guys will be all on the show. We'll get to callers pretty quick tonight. So if you want to join us on the show and talk live, all you have to do is go into our Discord. If you hit ! Discord, that will give you the information you need. And once you're in there, you can jump into the voice channel called Green Room. And what that does is that tells us that you want to come live on the air and talk about something. It's completely open. Just be respectful. You can have any opinion you want. We're here to chat about a bunch of different opinions. So we're into that. So a couple things. First, I know we announced on the Rewind, which is our podcast that we do every Sunday, Theric and myself, actually. We did announce a lot of changes to Pantheon Plus. And you guys can check that out if you want more details. I'm not going to go off like crazy about it because it took about 5 minutes of our podcast for me to go over all of it. And I don't want to do that tonight. But the long story short is Pantheon PlusYou is going to go to twice a month and then special events. So we are not going to be doing this every week for the sole fact of we're about to hit 40 episodes and we don't want to make an episode about nothing just to do it. As long as we have topics, we'll do it. We'll announce it ahead of time. We will always do a dev stream recap. And then from there, we will also, update you guys on whatever we decide to do from then on. So we just wanted to make sure everybody was aware of that. That is important that we note it. The other piece of the puzzle here is we will be doing Pantheon plus Rewind will be our weekly offering. We go through the community. Derek does a great job. We actually go through like community posts on the forums, on social media, on Reddit, and we kind of talk about what you guys are talking about. We highlight different people who make really good points or make posts, and we kind of talk about all that stuff. So you guys can come check that out live on Sundays, or you can just subscribe to it on like all the different things, right? Spotify,
iTunes, Spotify. We're like everywhere. I keep adding a new one each week. So no matter what podcast platform you use, you can find it.
Yeah. So that's the housekeeping out of the way. We just wanted you guys to know that we're going to be doing it twice a month now instead of every week. And again, if a special case comes up, we'll definitely do that. So here we are. We just had the dev stream for the month. They entitled it What to Expect from Pre-Alpha 5. So I think we were probably pretty excited to hear even any news when it comes to Pre-Alpha 5. And that's whether you're a Pre-Alpha backer or not. Knowing that Pre-Alpha 5 is starting means that while we don't know exactly when it is, that Alpha is closer. And if Alpha is closer, Beta is closer. And if Beta is closer, well, the release of the game is closer. Now, don't get everybody all hyped up that didn't watch stream. I'm not saying the game is coming out anytime soon. We all know it's going to be a little bit of a marathon here, but we're still getting closer, as Nathan would say, right, Therick?
Every day closer, yeah. No, lots of good info there. Yeah, we didn't get an exact date, but we did get it. Every time it's something different, right? It's a different word. Mm-hmm. This time it was an email is coming in the next few weeks for the pre-alpha testers, for the shakeout, right? That was the keyword that they used.
Yeah, I love it. So yeah, I think if we're getting it in a couple weeks, is it safe to say that we may have pre-alpha 5 in about a month, a little over a month? Is very possible, right?
It sounds about right. What does that take us to the end of July?
Yeah.
And they talked about summer. So
yes, we did. I posted like a thing today of what the official days of summer are. It was like the 20th of June through like the 22nd of September. So check your emails if you're a VIP supporter, and let's get into it. So what you guys are seeing, if you were late to the stream, and I don't know why we're having a bit of a frame rate issue here, but now it looks like we're kind of recovering and going back and forth. I don't really know why. So sorry about that. If you guys see small stutters, it's nothing crazy. But in the background right now, you're watching a gray box video of Black Rose Keep. Now, Therick, you were keeping a ton of notes. Let me give you the mic here. What do you want to tell people that we learned about in the dev stream? And what are your thoughts on this Black Rock Keep loop that we're seeing here?
Right. So it's quite a bit different. We've seen Black Rose Keep. We saw it a while ago in stream. Saw a big part of it and a few streams actually. So we've seen quite a bit of it. Now it looks quite different in this gray box video that they now shown. What they talked about in the stream is the scale and the size. They felt like that was lacking in the previous iteration of it. And much of Project Fairtail, what they said is that's what they've been working on, is revisiting some areas, giving them the proper sense of, I think Joppa said it's a sense of arrival, right? Like you see this place off in the distance. So to see something off in the distance, it has to be big, right? Obviously, you're not going to see some tiny little, keep from way far away. But if it's a bigger, grander sort of structure, you see it off in the distance, and then you get there. You get that sense of arrival when you've made that trek to the place. So I think that's what I took from it, is that's what they were going for with the redesign. And I think we see that in the video that they show, right? You see a lot of climbing, you see a lot of verticality. He talked about, I think since I don't know, if it was always the plan to have everything climbable, but since they've taken that approach, I think they really wanted to lean into that, and they probably wanted to utilize that a bit more in Black Rose Keep. Before, in the old stream, they did talk about the some of the guard towers being climbable. So I think there were some select locations in the last iteration of it, but maybe in this one there's more climbable areas, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, and even right in the video they show climbing. Like it's almost like a tease. Like I'm going to climb up this path to kind of see, to see what's ahead, but it's almost kind of like a little spoiler, like we're going to be climbing. And this shot that's showing right now is like this downward shot into the area, and you can just see it's cliffs and paths. There's just going to be a ton of climbing. I can see spots already where I'm going to put my rope down and drop elves. So it's looking like you're getting a really good sight of the size. And the cool thing is that a lot of this has come from like feedback, right? And that was one of the biggest things they said was the reason that Blackrock Keep is bigger now, they moved it completely out of the zone it was in, is because of the fact that people wanted it bigger. From a lore perspective, you made a lore video on Black Rose Keep. And from what I've gathered, maybe it's just because we've seen Black Rose Keep so much, Black Rose Keep's a huge part of the lore and the story. It's really important to Pantheon, right?
Yeah, it was interesting what they said about this because I had the same questions. So it was in Avenir's Pass before. It's not there anymore. It was there for lore reasons, but it's got a new location now. They didn't say exactly where the new location is, so it was asked in chat. Nefel asked, or somebody asked. I don't remember if it was Nefel. Somebody did, and they didn't reveal where it was. But they said that the lore that is in place still supports this location. In fact, they said it's more in line with the lore. Is what they said.
That was a weird comment.
Yeah. Well, I think they followed it up. They did explain it. They said in Avenir's Pass, it was a little too close to Thronefest, which makes sense because it was founded, by a sort of traitor to Thronefest, right? Amani Karos. And if you're real close, I mean, that doesn't make any sense. It basically built a castle next door to Thronefest. So it makes sense if it's further away. They didn't say where it was. It's not the only change, too. The location is not the only change. They talked about sort of, I guess what they were hinting at is the interior and the maybe the NPCs that are there and all that kind of stuff.
It looks higher, and you wonder if it runs deeper. We can't see that, but that was kind of what went through my mind.
I can't see how it wouldn't be. If it's that much bigger, I mean, it's got to be deeper and more involved. Which it reminds me a little bit of Amber Fate. So looking at the video, like sort of seeing the verticality of it. I mean, I don't know if it makes you think of that, but
if you're climbing, I think verticality is important to the game, right? I think with flying mounts, like other games could potentially really do verticality, but they still haven't. Like even with flying mounts, most games don't feel vertically built. So it is a different feel for Pantheon compared to most, even though they don't have flying. And that's pretty interesting to me because I think it's a great idea. It's a way to make content fit better and have a more massive sprawl, which it's kind of like a combo of good things. So I'm pretty into it. So that's what this video is showing. There was a lot of discussion around it. I think we all know at this point that Black Rose Keep is important to Pantheon. So it's interesting. And they talked that this isn't the only change. We're going to see a lot of changes that people are going to be surprised to see. And it's also interesting that they can literally just pick this zone up and put it somewhere else pretty effortlessly, it seems like.
Yeah,
I mean,
that's kind of cool. It's kind of interesting, like I'm not a game designer, but that's to be able to do that. I mean, if their game is sort of built like that, I mean, it opens
what they
up
didn't tell you is where it was is now just a big hole in the ground. I'm just kidding. It's called the crater. It's like, why is this crater here? We don't talk about that.
Black Rose Crater.
Black Rose Crater. Yeah. Awesome. So before we jump into the next topics, we have a rockin' green room. So we're going to spend a majority of tonight going into the green room. We'll talk about other notes that we have. But let me run through. The chat is alive. You guys are kicking butt. So I see a lot of you guys voting. We already have 16 votes on the board for the poll on the side of the screen here. To vote, it's very simple. You'll see in parentheses next to each voting thing, you'll see how to do it. Exclamation point, vote hype, vote good, vote fence, vote not, vote disappointed. And right now it looks like a majority of people said it was a pretty good stream. We have a second up for hyped. So if you haven't voted, throw your vote in there. Kind of lets us know what you guys thought, and it gives us a good way to talk about it. Aaron done messed up. Thank you for the follow. Stumpy Stump didn't give you a shout out either. Thank you for the follow. So it says here that, let's see, it's reading what some of the people are saying here. Ghostmind says there's got to be a sewer entrance. Yes, I agree. I don't know why, but I love sewer entrances.
I feel that way too. I think
maybe that's the rogue in me, right? Malice Heron said, I missed the alpha news. We'll talk about that. Like I said, it looks like it's about a month. Don't quote me on that. Month and a half feels good because they said we're going to get emails in the next couple of weeks for the VIPers. So that means that it can't be too far off if we're going to start scheduling. And I wonder if once they send the emails, obviously people who get those are under NDA. but I wonder how quick they'll be to tell people when it is once those emails go out. So it should be interesting to check out. We also had, let's see here. I love that Flea AF said, makes me want to adventure. I love that. That's the deal, right, Theric? Like these zones, the climbing, the atmosphere of Pantheon is made to adventure, made to explore. It's different. It's not just, I'm sure that people are still going to just grind and push through, but there's definitely a different feeling of adventure in Pantheon that maybe we don't get in MMORPGs right now.
Well, it's like they said, right? If you can see somewhere and you want to be able to go there, and to be able to actually go there is crazy. It's such a good feeling. I remember, when I first played Skyrim the first time and I saw this huge mountain off in the distance, I'm like, there's no way I can actually go to the top of that mountain. It's just like, scenery, right? No, I could go there. Like that's a great feeling.
Yeah. Now, Ronik hopped in. Ronik, thank you for jumping in. Very much appreciate it. But he said, it's very important to remember, although some things are climbable, you might not be able to if you don't have the skill. Which is awesome. Yes. I think a lot of us that have been following know that. But if you didn't know that, climbing is going to be a skill you have to level. In a lot of the videos we've seen, they've made sure to point out that the climbing skill is not fully implemented and they're just, testing it. And that even if it were implemented, they'd have it max skill to just kind of show you. It's going to take endurance away from you to climb. It's going to be a skill. If you're a rogue, you're a better climber than other classes, which I love. Again, elves, grab my rope. Don't worry. Just trust me.
Don't do that. Bad idea.
Yeah. And again, pre-alpha is what is going to be coming out in case I say alpha, because I do that from time to time. Let's see here. Okay. So anything else you want to throw? So Soulspite said, are any races class going to have a bonus to climbing? Yes. Rogues are going to. And Japa said, I would like to amend Ronik's statement and say nearly all things are climbable. Yeah, good call out. Don't worry, Ronik. We knew that's what you meant. So we hope you don't get in trouble. So thank you. Anything else about Black Rose Keep before we jump into the website?
No. Those are the notes that I took.
Okay, so let me show. For those of you that missed the beginning of the stream, we did get pictures of the website. And Ronik, thank you, buddy, for your hard work. Ronik got a big shout out. He's been putting a lot of work into this. I'm excited to hear that. It means it'll at least be pretty, because we know if Ronik can do anything, it's be pretty. So at least we give him that much credit. On the stream, he kind of just sits there quietly being pretty most of the time. So
thanks.
Thanks. Yeah, exactly. You're good. Okay, so let me show you guys some pictures here. They're going to come up on the stream one at a time. So this is how the front of the page is going to look. I kind of cropped this one to just be the page itself. You're going to have your pledge link right at the top, which is phenomenal, easy to get to. To kind of go to the next picture here, you're going to see like how the drop downs will look. So you guys can see the game, races, FAQ, media there, forums, store. Remember that the site apparently, and quote me if I'm wrong here, correct me, Theric, but it was sort of hinted that it's a couple weeks away. Is that correct?
What did you say? A few weeks?
It's a couple weeks away, right?
Yeah, that's what I wrote down. A couple weeks.
Yeah, I kept hearing that as well. So this is kind of, again, another shot of the main page. This is like, if you keep scrolling down, you'll see the top has a collapsible menu, which is nice. So it's very responsive, very important for any website to work on mobile, to just be responsive to the size you're looking at it. So in the top right, you have, your menu bar, but then we get into the news here. And obviously some of this is placeholders to kind of show it. You do have that Ronik has lost his corpse video there, which I love.
Always front page news, apparently.
Always. I think that should just stay there as like a joke for people who don't know why that video is always there. The next one here, scrolling down, we did get a shot, like you get to see the latest screenshots, and you'll be able to download them, which is really cool, right? The next one here is a completely searchable FAQ. So big improvement to the FAQ. Now, what wasn't said here, and I would love to hear from Ronik or Japa, the FAQ, are we going to see updates in the FAQ since the previous one? So I'm curious what we're going to see, or if it's just a copy over for now. But I'll be really excited to jump into this FAQ section right away. And you can also, again, search in it to kind of find some of the stuff you're looking for. And I think that's going to help people a lot. I think, yeah. and it is updated. So that'll be the first place I go to. Yeah. I highly recommend you guys do the same. Jump in there. I think there's a lot of people that haven't read the current FAQ, and there's some pretty important stuff in there that answer a lot of questions people ask. So check that. And Ronik, thank you again for telling us that that's going to be updated. That's awesome.
And the searchable is huge too. That searchable feature is super useful because there's so much information in there that, sometimes it's just hard to find it. It just takes a while to go through everything. That when you search, you can search for, like, you want to know about, acclamation, just type in acclamation, right?
Yep. Love it. It's really good stuff.
Mm-hmm.
The next thing here, just kind of another look at the lower part of the FAQ. There's miscellaneous, pledges, world, access, customer service. Excited to see what pledge updates might look like and how it's explained on there. Maybe that will help people. You'll see in the top right-hand corner too, races, go into the different races there. And they did say that the classes are coming. They will not be there in the launch of the website. So everybody who wants to jump right to classes, not quite yet, know that it's going to constantly be a work in progress. And that's still pretty cool. And then
I think that's the same with the forums too, just to add on to that. I think the same situation for the forums is going to be delayed as well. It's not going to be new right away. I think, because I was sort of listening for that, since I spent so much time there for the rewind, that we're going to have to wait on that a little bit longer.
Yeah. So those things will come. That's phenomenal news. It's also really good for people. They just haven't been added yet. So they are working on them. It may or may not be there. And I think Japa also said that he's trying to work on getting the racial actives in for the website launch, but we're not 100% sure that's going to happen either. So again, guys, just know that it's going to kind of be rolling out, right? We're going to be rolling things out through it. So Ronik says the classes will be there. So that's exciting. It'd be interesting to see what spells we're going to see. I think that's where I really am excited to look at the classes, right? The other things that were brought up about the website is that we are also going to, I just lost it. I was just thinking about it.
You had asked about the fan site.
Yes.
Like a content creators pack.
It's amazing how you read my mind. Yeah. So for content creators out there, or future content creators out there, which you guys got to know, if you don't know who Pantheon Plus is, we're all about helping future content creators as well. We want to give you guys platforms. We want to show your videos. We want to help you guys in any way we can. We want more creators. We're not selfish. We don't want to be the only ones. We want you guys to rock and roll too. So really good news to hear that eventually we are going to see some more things for content creators on the site to, images, how we're supposed to use them. But the positive thing is just access to some of the imagery instead of having to spend all your time, cropping stuff out and everything. So it's really cool. It's going to be nice. So really forum update again, Ronik just said will be in phase 2. So I know a lot of people are looking for that. So
I thought somebody asked a good question actually in the chat during the stream. They asked if there was a new atlas, a new world map ready, and the answer was no, not yet. But that's something I'd like to see as well. But we'll have to wait for that too.
Yeah, I agree. I think that it should be interesting to see how that plays out for sure. Okay, so as far as notes, I mean, we can get into the patch notes, but maybe let's get into the green room first. And if we want, we can go in. Let me put it this way, without going through all the patch notes, because you guys can go back and listen to that at the end of the stream on Twitch, or I'm sure they're going to put it up on YouTube. Was there anything in the patch notes that just really stood out to you that you just want to make sure we say on the show?
You're asking me?
Yeah.
Oh, no, I thought the thing about all the humanoid NPCs now using player race models is pretty cool. And the fact that the animations have sort of been polished and given some precision so that they can sort of function upper lower body distinctly. I like the idea of running around and seeing the real models for all the the NPCs that are in the world, right? Appropriate races models.
Yep. I just, again, like, I can't get off the fact that I'm reading the chat. I really want to read the FAQ. I really want to read it. Oh man, I'm like really hooked on that. Okay. So the way Pantheon PlusYou works, if you're new to the show, first of all, welcome and thank you for watching us. Number 2, what we do on this show that makes us different, that we think is important and kind of ties into everything we believe in regards to being community first with our content, is that we go to the green room in our Discord and we bring people live on the show to give their thoughts and opinions on whatever topic we're talking about, or just, in general. So we're going to do that now. I will tell you guys, we have a really deep green room right now. We're going to try to get to everybody. And if you haven't jumped in yet, you still can, but we may be a little short. Just kind of ask you guys, what are your thoughts? What do you want to add? Any questions you have? And then we'll probably jump to the next people. So please don't take it as an insult if we kind of rush through some of the stuff here so we can try to get to as many people as possible. Theric, you ready to talk to the community?
Yeah, ready.
Okay. Drac, you've been in there since I think yesterday. So we're going to bring you in first. Drac, who is an awesome friend of the Pantheon Plus community, does amazing things out there with his website, Pantheon blog, and does amazing character creations for like profiles for the whole community. So let's go ahead and bring Drac in first to talk about it. So here he comes. Drac, what's going on, man? How are you? Drac fell asleep.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
There he is.
There you are.
Nice. It's going really well. I really like the stream today.
So what were your main takeaways from the stream?
I really liked how Joppa said that, like, because everybody's worried about the climbing, and he said that the world is designed for people to skip stuff, and that makes it okay because that's how we're designing it. It's not going to be like something that's game breaking. It's something that they're expecting.
Yeah, that's a really good point, right? Because people talk about that all the time, like, oh, I can just climb over this hill and I don't have to fight this thing. And he's like, yeah, well, we know that. Like that's one of the, we're designing for that, right? I guess that's what you're saying, right?
Absolutely. Yep.
Yeah,
like
that's a really good point.
And I think
that type of stuff.
He tied that into like the whole adventure thing, like we were talking about earlier. Like the whole ordeal is like, we want this game to be adventurous. So if your adventure is sneaking around, which I'm a rogue, I love it, right? If your adventure is sneaking around and finding your own path, then they're going to encourage it and welcome it, which is awesome. So,
yeah, it's taking one of those like, things that is seen as maybe a problem or a negative and turning it into a feature, right? Into a positive, a part of the game. Great thinking.
And I agree. I mean, Drac, I don't know how you feel, but I sort of agree with the community that was like kind of worried about climbing. I think me and Vandrad, who we're going to chat with here in a little bit, we've had conversations where like, this is going to probably be one of the most exploitable things that we're going to have to, that they're probably going to have to patch and change quite a bit. But at the same time, it's like, well, if that's what they want to do, then it's kind of fun. Like now that's a goal of mine. Like, what can I find? Where can I get to that I'm not supposed to be? And that to me is pretty fun.
Yeah, I agree.
Drac, anything else?
The thing I had down was you guys mentioned it, but that all the NPC characters are now character models. Also, they said that during the alpha testing that they wanted to see where people migrated to and that where they got stuck. So those two things together makes me think that they have a lot of zones put together and that they have like NPCs in those zones and they may be a little bit farther in development than, because we always kind of see the same three zones, but like if they got a whole tons of NPCs in zones and they got they're prepared to alpha test or pre-alpha test where people are going to go in those zones, that sounds like they have a lot accomplished.
And here's a great point to that. I just said this today in one of the Discords. I'm sorry, I don't remember which one. But someone was talking about like, I'm afraid that the world's not going to be big enough. And Joppa or Ronik, a simple yes or no with no other comments would be so great right now. But I just responded. I'm like, they probably have so much close to vast that they haven't shown us. And I think it's going to blow our minds once we see it, because I do think that half the job of developing a game like an MMORPG is allowing us to discover. They can't show us too much. They really can't. Yeah. And when you see the keep is just moved and there's other things that are moved and here's this huge zone it's in now, I think there's a lot. And they're just picking and choosing what to show us. And I think there's a lot more than we know. And I think we're going to be pretty surprised by it.
I picked up on that too, Drac. What they said was the first continent of King's Reach is coming together and it's in its entirety. Especially the run from Thronefast to Fairthale. And in PA5, they're paying attention to player push and player movement, like you said. And when I heard that, what it means to me is that there's going to be a lot of free form testing, right? Because it's not just going to be like, specified, do this, do that, stay here, do this. They're watching for how people are moving through different zones. That's pretty interesting, pretty exciting for PA5.
Yeah, without a doubt. Drac, thanks, buddy, for everything you do. Guys, check out his website, pantheonblog.com, and get yourself a profile made. He's making profiles for everybody in the Pantheon community. It's super cool. You guys can use it for whatever you want. But Drac, always, man. Thank you for everything you do, buddy.
Thanks, guys.
Yeah. Cheers, Drac.
All right, so let's go with. You have to help me keep track of this here. I think you want to go with the birthday boy. You want to get he's in there. Erikai, take off that mute and get that headset unmuted. And let's get Erikai in here. It's been a while since I've got to hear from him on Pantheon PlusYou. He supported us, I mean, like crazy at the beginning, and he's here, but he isn't always in. So let's bring him in. He's coming in now. Okay. Erikai, happy birthday! Everybody in chat, give him a big happy birthday. Come on, light that chat up. So we don't ask for the chat to do much. Let's get a happy birthday to the community here. What's up, Erikai? How are you? Uh-oh, we're having problems tonight. Erikai, we can't hear you. You're not lighting up.
He's overwhelmed with his birthday.
He's completely overwhelmed, guys. We broke Erikai.
Fell off his chair.
We broke him. We can't hear him. We broke him. Some people are saying happy birthday. Someone even used points to say happy birthday. It looks like Erikai can't speak. So we may have to put him back in the green room, and then we'll bring him back on after once he gets figured out. He can
get him a res.
Yeah. Somebody res Joppa. Can you please res Erikai? We'd appreciate that. So we're going to drop Erikai back. If you get your mic thing figured out, let us know, buddy. We'll bring you back in. Let's go with Bronson. You want to bring good old Bronson in?
Mm-hmm.
All right, let's go. Bring him in. Bronson, what is going on? How are you?
Hey, man, right in the middle of
Hey,
talking.
Bronson.
Hey, guys.
Hey, it's always right in the middle of talking. That green room never stops, man. I've never got to, I don't get to get in there. That's the thing.
I know Van and I are just having this conversation. So. How are you guys?
Good, man. How are you? You sound good. I haven't talked to you in a bit. Like for voice.
I'm tired, but I'm good. I'm doing good. Just working a lot.
I know we've all been, I've talked to you briefly in between this era, and I know that we've been waiting for, for this stream and when they talk PA5, etc. So, I mean, we were excited. How did it deliver for you, and what were some of your takeaways? And for those of you that don't know, he gets so mad at me for this, Derek, but Bronson he is an artist. He's done work in many games. This guy knows what he's talking about. He will be humble. But I do love getting his feedback because I think he can look at it from a developer standpoint. That's why we love having you on the show. So Bronson, now that I've gushed about you and you're uncomfortable, what'd you think?
Oh gosh. I loved it. I was telling Vandra this in the green room that, yeah, this is above and beyond. I love it. I mean, he was looking forward to it being a larger zone. I was fine with it as it was, but I had no real sort of expectations of what the zone was intended to be as far as lore goes. But without that, it's just the composition is just above and beyond what it was. It just beautiful, really done well, and that's without seeing all the assets that they have to plug in and replace. So it's done. Yeah. I mean, it's beautiful.
I really like how they used the Fairthale teaser as sort of a comparison. It's like, look, you've seen this. Now imagine it with these, with this sort of level of polish and this sort of finality on it, right?
Right.
Can you imagine, like, how good is that going to look when they get it to that level?
Yeah.
Impressive like this, right?
I'm still wanting to see it in daytime. I've seen it so much at night.
Somebody asked that. I know. Yeah. Somebody said, "Is it only a nighttime zone? It's not a permanent night zone." That's
actually a great point. That's a great point. The thing, and here's what's interesting, because there's probably some people who look at this and say, wow, there's so much work in it, right? Like this gray box, like there's a lot of work to get it done. Yes, they have assets, but and I may be speaking out of tune here, but Bronson, you remember when they showed the Merc for the first time?
Right.
And then it seemed like only a couple months later, after they showed the Merc, that one of the patch notes said that the Merc was completed. Do you remember that?
Yeah. Yep. I know. Dude, it doesn't take that long. To be honest, it doesn't. These guys, someone like Torque, Jimmy, he's a pro. So he's roughing us all out. He's blocking it all in. This is just my interpretation. I'm not a fly on. So it's just based on my own personal experiences. He's roughing it all in. They're all looking it over, and they're just once they get it all dialed in as far as what they want it to look like and feel, and in this form, it's dropping textures, dropping in all the assets that they've got created, and then start fine tuning it. It's not like easy work. I'm not trying to confuse you with thinking that, but it is time consuming. It's just that it can happen fairly quickly, and it's great. It's like to see it in this form. It looks great as this, and so
it's almost like they just take this magic paintbrush, right, with like the tools they have and the genius behind some of the developers' team. They get it laid out, and then it's like a magic paintbrush. Let's just keep painting it. Now we're just adding that final coating. And it's funny because listen, sometimes I get called a fanboy, and I do love this game. So maybe sometimes I am.
I'm a fanboy for this game.
Yeah, right. But when I look at this, even in gray box, is it dumb that I think it looks awesome even in gray?
No, it totally looks cool. It looks great.
Like that overhead shot that's like shooting in. Sure, it doesn't have like foliage and all that stuff, but like the overhead shot that comes into the scene, like it's really cool looking. Like I don't know. Like maybe I'm crazy. I don't know.
Well, the buildings. I mean, the buildings look pretty solid. They look pretty finished. That looks like a finished asset to me. The building itself and maybe those bridges. Yeah. But these trees, all that placeholder stuff is just going to get swapped out. I'm sure they have some trees already created, and maybe those are going to get ready.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
What'd you think about climbing? Them just kind of openly saying like, "Hey, you know, like you can climb." And that's what it's about.
Oh, about climbing over avoiding mobs and things.
Yep.
Oh, I'm totally cool with that. That's like normal. That's what you would do if you saw danger. And you could find your way around it. That's just a common knowledge, right? You just heck it out.
Yeah.
So Bronson, can we promise some streams where me and you get together stealth and see what kind of trouble we can get up to? Maybe we strip out of our gear so we don't lose anything, and we just naked stealth runs to see how far we can get to places we shouldn't be.
Oh, I'm all for that. Let's do that.
Bronson, thank you, buddy.
Naked rogue runs.
Yeah, naked halfling. Naked halfling rogue runs. I love it. And if you didn't see just now, really cool comment from Ronik. He says he's not going to lie, it's very fun to play in the gray box too. And I'm saying that as an MMO fan, not someone who works in VR. And I too listen. Ronik is always extremely truthful and busts my balls quite a bit. So when he says that, I truly do believe him. I didn't get to see his
shout
mullet.
out to you guys, man. You guys did a great job. All you guys at VR, Jimmy, dude.
Yeah, Jimmy deserves a lot of props. I'm happy to hear like him really get some props in that one from Joppa. So really happy to hear that. And I'm sure that there's a lot more people other than Jimmy that are busting their butts. So please don't think that. But I'm really excited to hear him get that shout out for sure.
Yep.
All right, Bronson. Thank you, buddy. Appreciate it. Don't be a stranger, bud.
Okay. You guys have a good night.
You guys heard it here. Bye, naked rogue runs coming in the future when we can stream. Take it easy, man.
Somebody clip this.
All right. Erikai says his mic is fixed. So anybody who said happy birthday and pulled back on it, you can now say happy birthday. Bring in Erikai in now. What's up, Erikai? Are we good? Are you there? Hello.
Yes, I am.
Happy birthday, buddy. Happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
Thank you. And thank you to everyone in the chat. Also, that's nice of everybody.
You're definitely older. Are you wiser or just older?
I'll plead the fifth on that.
Very smart. You are wiser, see?
So you'll remember this birthday, not because you're here, but we had a dev stream.
That's right.
So what did you think of it? I mean, give me your, you stepped out of it, you came to our show, like what's running through your head right now the most when it comes to what we just saw?
Oh, great question. I don't know. I was most impressed with Black Rose Keep. I like that they said it's just bigger. I love big dungeons. Big dungeons are just a lot of fun. Thinking of old Karnor's Castle and some of those just larger labyrinth-like ones that just are just crazy. And I think the addition of climbing, being able to climb all over the ramparts and stuff, that'll just be really cool. So, gray box or not, I just really enjoyed seeing it. It just looks really cool.
Somebody said on the stream when we were watching it that everything that's in gray box looks like a Sonic the Hedgehog level. Did you guys catch that in chat? When they
I did see that, yeah. I agree. I think one of the things that's most impressive about it is just the layering between you've got like three different layers of perspective, right? There's a tower, and then there's a tower behind it on the left, and there's a tower behind it on the left. So it really gives you that sense of depth, right? And they talked a little bit about the layering being one of the feedback points, and adding that, like I said earlier, about to a Black Rose keep, sort of giving it that extra layer of depth to it. So yeah.
Yeah, and I envision like sneaking around one of those towers. You turn a corner, and all of a sudden there's a guard there waiting for you. You know,
Yeah.
and he's an alarmist, and he'll alert the other guards, and you're just like, oh crap! Now I gotta run, you know, to the entrance or whatever. It's just
Yeah.
Let's hope alarmist isn't the most common of dispositions, right, Bronson? Like, give us rogues a chance. Give us a chance.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Poor rogues.
That's awesome, Eric. Thank you for jumping in, man. What did you think? So were you hyped? Are you super hyped from it? You're pretty good. You on the fence? That's where all the votes are going tonight. So where were you in that?
Yeah, it's good. I'm good. I'm hyped, but you know, I imagine a lot of these super hyped people are probably some of the pre-alpha pledges, which
That's a really
I'm
good
not.
point.
So it's kind of just,
I'm there with you.
you know.
Yeah.
And Ben said, you know, I don't remember the exact wording he said, but he said something along the lines of, alpha's still a ways out, you know. And I'm just like, well, you know, it's okay, no big deal. I've been saying for a while on like Discord and even this show too, that I just want them to get on with it, right? Like I'm not chomping at the bit, particularly because I want to play an alpha. It's more so that I just want to be assured that it's moving along.
Mhm.
Yeah. I feel good about that, but I understand. I completely understand your perspective. I just, again, I really do think they're hiding a lot. I just, there's this feeling when I watch Joppa talk, when he's trying to be careful or he makes a little smirk, and maybe it's just really being hopeful, but I just feel like there is so much that these guys are like, oh, wait till they see this. I can't believe they don't know about this. I feel like that's the case.
Yeah. And how many times, even tonight, like tonight combined with Basgrim's interview, did he say something along the lines of, well, I'll stop there and I won't say anything further. You know, he clearly has extras up his sleeve that he's just not telling.
Yeah. No, I'm with you there, Eric. So Minus and Bronson can go there, do their VIP pre-alpha stuff. You and me will do the alpha.
We're not allowed to talk. We're not allowed to talk about anybody being in
That's
VIP.
right.
NDA.
That will be the rise of Therakai.
Yeah.
Therakai, there you
Therakai.
go. Exactly.
Well, if you're both elves, we'll be killing you. So
No, that will not be the case.
okay.
Nobody
Well,
kills Therakai.
you might be by yourself, Eric. So
Better
all right.
than being an elf.
That is true. It's totally better than being an elf.
Oh,
Eric, happy birthday, buddy. Let's make sure that you get back here. I miss talking to you, buddy. Happy birthday.
Thanks, guys. Talk to you
Happy
later.
Take it easy, man. All right, let's get Thorndeep in. I've made Thorndeep wait way too many times on this show because he gets stuck coming in a little bit later. Let's get Thorndeep on. Thorndeep, if you want to unmute, I see you there, so we're going to bring you in. What is up, Thorndeep? How are you?
I'm great. How are you doing?
I'm doing phenomenal. So what's going on, man? What'd you think of all that?
Well, of course, I mean, the news that the PA5 is going to be starting soon and emails have been sent out is huge. I mean, it gives us, we don't know exact dates, of course, but a certain time frame, you know, that it's definitely very close. So that's, to me, huge news. Of course, yeah. And then the other thing, I don't think anyone's mentioned, but for me, the armor that the adventurer was wearing in the video that they showed, was really impressive. The layering and the texture to it makes me really excited to see all the different armors and possibilities that are available. So hopefully a lot of nuance there, and that's very exciting to me.
It had a bit of a different look. I mean, somebody I think in chat did point it out that it looked a little bit more like the cloth under the plate was more distinct than we've seen before. But
exactly,
Yeah, it does look good. It's actually on the screen right now as you guys are talking. When he was climbing, you could really see how well that looked, and the animation of the climbing was actually pretty good, which actually was just said by Catharsis. So good stuff there. And Butcher just said the glare off Theric is blinding. There's no glare. Booch.
know,
Get out of here,
real
Booch.
overhead lights. Yeah, get out.
Booch, you got to be careful because the more you make us angry, there'll be no bard. That's it. I'm drawing a line. Joppa already said what's a bard. No more bard. We're replacing it with remember that picture I shared on April Fool's Day of the little ratkin? That's what we're replacing bards with a ratkin animal tamer. That's what's going to happen. So
no calling out the host.
So Thorndeep, we didn't get to talk to you last week, but there was some beans dropped on Summoner. And I know you're a big Summoner fan, and Joppa talked about how they're going to have a separate action bar for the Summoner pets or for pet classes. What did you think of that? Because I think that's something and I'm not trying to say I told you so to anybody, but that's something I've been saying is an easy fix. But then the big debate back and forth was, well, if you're going to make this exception for summoners, you're going to have, a different bar for their pets. And why aren't you doing that for different classes? And then how many exceptions are we going to have? It just made sense to me that for pets, they had their own bar. Like every game, a pet has their own bar. So that was the first time we got some decent summoner beans, like some newer stuff on it, Thorndeep. So what was your takeaway from that? Was that good news for you?
Well, that makes total sense to me, for sure. I mean, I don't want to get into the whole LAS debate since that's
I have a video coming. I'm going to make a lot of people upset.
A really hot topic, I know. Yeah, so that doesn't surprise me, and it just makes sense.
Yeah,
that they're going to have a separate bar for that.
Yep. Well, awesome. Anything else there's Joppa? Don't start. This show we'll be on this show for forever. Joppa says there's an LAS debate. Oh man.
Okay, I'll just say it since
oh boy, here we go. Listen.
I'm starting to think that the LAS hasn't gone far enough. If we're only going to have, like 20 to 30 skills and we've got 15 slots, that's like half your stuff.
There you go. So for all you people against LAS, if Thorndeep was in charge, you'd have less. So appreciate what you have.
But actually, the one other thing I'd like to bring up is, and it's funny that Theric said this. He talked about Skyrim, and I just started playing Skyrim. I'm like sort of halfway through my first run right now, and as I'm playing it, it's really got me thinking about the perception system in Pantheon. Because if you haven't played Skyrim, the more you pay attention to the world, there's clues all throughout the world about what you need to do. And the news that Joppa dropped about the perception triggers being embedded in the mesh of the world and them being able to put the so detailed perception triggers throughout the world really has me very, very, very excited, because I think that's it's going to, again, for the immersion factor and really needing to pay attention to the world and drawing people in. I think that is huge, huge, huge. Mm-hmm. I just can't overstate that enough, how amazing that is.
Yeah, it's a good example. It's all the books you find, in Skyrim, all the the little things. If you just pay attention, you see little stories played out by just the position of a skeleton on the floor, right? And there's a sword laying beside, and it plays into a story. It's something you heard in a city 2 hours ago, and it's not like a direct quest, but it's something that you see in the environment and plays out a story, right?
Exactly. And even there are some riddles and things, that you need to look at the environment to solve. I'm hoping some of that is in Pantheon as well. And you sort of brought it up as well. This is another thing I'm hoping is, like, when you hear just idle chatter from NPCs and things, they'll mention these things, and later you'll encounter something, you go, oh, that's what they're talking about. Mm-hmm. And so I hope Pantheon has some of that too, not just what you see, but also what you hear and learn, all tying into the Keeper and the lore and all those things that, again, will just encourage people to really start paying attention to everything, not just what you have to kill.
Agreed.
But, yeah.
And you know what's funny? Like, I talked about this today, and again, I have so many Discords. I really apologize to people who I talk to about this stuff, and then I just forget. But I talked to somebody about this today, like with just wanting to. I mean, truth be told, if you look at me in any MMORPG, I'm a super crazy grinder. BFA, I stayed up for 48 hours and pushed myself to the #1 geared warrior on the server. It was like top 100 in the world. And I don't know why I did that. It ruined the game for me, to be honest with you. And I'm not saying that as a bragging point. I just get super obsessive, right? Like I'm super obsessive. And I have this need to like want to push myself very far in a game so that I can help others. Like if I can experience it first and people have questions, I want to be there to help. And as a guild leader, that is something that was always something that pushed me to be, super aggressive in leveling, super aggressive in learning, and just driving myself into the ground. Like there's times during expansion launches where I'd literally lay on the floor next to my seat and sleep for an hour with an alarm on because I literally didn't know if I could make it, get back up and then play again. And it's crazy, right? Like and that's really how I've played almost every single MMORPG I've ever played. And I don't want to play Pantheon that way. And the reason I bring this all up is because they talk about like with the mutters, and like the perception system and this climbing and exploration. Like I really, really hope that I can slow down. When I'm streaming, for example, that I can stream stuff that's fun, like exploration stuff that's enjoyable for people to watch and like discovering stuff. I really don't want to be that player anymore that just pushes through the content really quickly. And I want to take it slower. And I don't care about being world first. I don't care about, being at the top of the ladder looking down. Like, so I hope that all these things, like these adventure things that I typically would have maybe ignored in previous games, are going to be something that will drive me to, and Clem, you just said the best word, to absorb it, to look around a bit. I really hope that's the case.
Imagine, like you're wandering along and something catches, out of the corner of your eye and you're like, oh, that looks interesting. You go over and to examine it just because it looks interesting, and you get this perception trigger, and it's like, oh yeah, it tells you, it sparks your curiosity. So then you go off, you were planning to head to, let's say Black Rose Keep, but then you get this perception trigger and you go exploring and you find another one and you end up going on this whole other adventure that you didn't anticipate.
Yeah.
Because you're really engaged with the world around you. And what a great, as a streamer, what a great experience for your viewers that, whoa, we didn't anticipate this either. Suddenly we're on this whole new adventure that we didn't anticipate.
Eric, you're turning me more into you, man. I'm starting to care about lore more. I may craft from Nefel. I mean, I don't know what you guys are doing to me. I don't know what you're doing to me.
Switching.
I don't know how I'm doing it either, but whatever I'm doing, like maybe you can tell my wife how I'm being so influential, because she's not influenced by me at all. Like I can't convince her of everything, of anything. So
don't look at me for help on that. Don't look. I'm divorced, so we're getting divorced. So don't look at me on that one. Like I got no help there.
But I totally am. That you're right, though. I mean, I'm very much an advocate of slowing down and taking your time and just doing things. So I'm here for you, man. I will help you play that way.
All right, we'll see. Hopefully, I can. Thorndeep, thank you so much, buddy. I appreciate you coming in. Appreciate you hanging out and waiting to come on, and we'll definitely talk more, buddy. Thank you.
Awesome.
Let's get Vandrad on here. Vandrad doesn't able to make our show very often anymore. His guild raids on Thursday nights now. So getting him in is a treat. So let's bring in our buddy, the controversial, the opinionated. But I got to tell you, the one thing about Vandrad compared to some people that he's labeled with, Vandrad is very intelligent in the way he says things, and he does care a ton. So let's bring in Vandrad, but let's pretend you didn't hear all that nice stuff about him. What's up, Vandrad? How are you?
Hello.
Hey.
Welcome in, buddy. What's going on?
That's for damn sure.
It's been so long.
Fine. Sorry, I've missed your show for the last couple of weeks. We've been kind of addicted to EverQuest 1 for a while.
Yeah, that's okay, man. I get it. So what's going on, man? What'd you think tonight?
I hope Joppa is still listening to this because I want him to hear this. I am very appreciative of the fact that they took a lot of the feedback that we had of the size of Black Rose Keep in its original format and improved the size. Not just, front to back, left to right, but vertical. I really impressed with VR's vertical thinking when it comes to zone design, because it is one thing that I believe is really starting to set this game world apart, is the fact that things are more vertical. And I'm hoping
point.
that we see this continue, not just with overland zones like Black Rose Keep, but dungeons. I want more dungeons to have this vertical aspect to it. So yeah, from looking at the Black Rose Keep, I'm already looking at things going, well, what is that over there? How am I going to get there? How many different ways can I get into this zone? Looking at the size, the possible size of this, where might camps exist? How might the zone be spread out or divided amongst level spreads and that sort of thing? Yeah, I'm really looking forward to going into Black Rose Keep to see how this has changed.
You're totally right with that overhead view that I keep going back to, like, and somebody brought up the sewer entrance. Like, so one of the things that people are concerned about with, these zones, right? Open world, for people who haven't played open world games, or for people who even have, a lot of them are concerned with like camping, right? So
Right.
are there going to be enough camps? Is it going to be overcrowded? And when you look at this and you think, wow, like there's probably an underground portion. So I might be able to get into the underground portion from a few different ways. And this is just theory crafting, guys, and don't take my word for this, but you guys get what I'm saying. Is like, if I can get to different areas through different paths, that actually creates less choke points and can get people in and out of the area to get to different camping spots without necessarily
stepping over other people's toes.
Yes, perfect.
Mhm.
And speaking of toes, I just want you to know that Ronik said he's waiting for
Yeah, I saw that
Vandrad's
for the other shoe to
for the
drop.
other shoe to drop. And we'll give you
time.
So that's something that's really important to me. And I think when you talk about the height and you look at the valleys and look at the like paths, and there's ways you can get around it and get higher and maybe start higher up in the area. There's a lot of really cool things that we can see that climbing is going to initiate. So it's pretty exciting. And I think that comment on building vertically is a very big deal. I agree with you on that.
Right, because if you start going into the third dimension of things, you can actually pack more people into a given volume of space, because I can have my group down at the bottom of these canyons, while other groups are camping on the tops of these little mesas, and getting their ways around. I'm impressed with it. I like it. I'm really looking forward to seeing what this comes out to when it has the full Fairthale effect added to it.
Mhm.
I wish that they would have shown us a little bit further along into the zone rather than just one guy walking 25 feet and then falling off a cliff. Because I'd really like to know what he fell onto and how far he fell. That would be interesting. The castle looks complete. It looks much larger. I like it. It would have been nice to see. I'm looking at that going, is that a suspension bridge? How do I get from the lower one to the higher one? But I'm going to have to disappoint Rennick and say I'm not going to drop the other shoe on this one. Not on the BRK reveal. No, I'm not going to do it.
So let's talk then about climbing. Me and you had a discussion earlier today about like, what do we think is going to be it's kind of interesting to be like, what do we think is going to be the thing in the game that's going to need, nerfed or changed the quickest? Like, is it a class? Like, I think I said Enchanter Charm is one I'm very, very worried about. A lot of people, I think, were talking about enchanters. Me and you kind of said, I think you brought up like climbing, number one, was going to be one of the biggest
I
things.
think climbing is going to be the one game mechanic that will be adjusted the most significantly over time. Only
Do you think it's more
because
the climbing itself or how mobs react to climbing? If you had to pick one or the other.
I think it's because I don't think NPCs are going to have the wherewithal to deal with a very three-dimensional world. They have a hard enough time dealing with slight changes in elevation, where pathing and whatnot just takes them, all over the place. To get 5 feet, they'll take off and run in a completely different direction. I also don't think that the potential for exploit, the potential to bypass content, the potential to reach places and engage in content that NPCs cannot reach you in return has not been fully addressed. I understand why applying it broadly first is important, because you can dial it back, I think, easier than you can painting it to specific surfaces, you know? But it's going to be one of those things that I'm going to put in a lot of time and effort to check and test to see how NPCs deal with me going up ledges, going up trees, reaching these other locations. I'm looking at those cliffs going up to the keep, and I go, will it be possible to go from the very bottom and all the way up and over the walls of the keep and bypassing all of the content that I would
That's
not
a good
have to
point.
deal with on the way from, following the quote normal path to get into the front door.
I think that kind of ties into, though, with like what Jop has said in the past and with what Ronick has said, that your climbing skill and your endurance is going to matter a lot. Like if something's that high, I'm going to say a lot of people aren't going to be able to climb that far unless you're a rogue.
Well,
but
maybe
like
in the beginning, yes.
Yeah. And that might help. That still might help. I'm just curious, like, as the game goes on, is climbing going to evolve to where you have to continuously level it, as they introduce new content? Because the worst thing is you could put a new content in and then all of a sudden you're max climbing, you're climbing through stuff a little easier. Whereas the experience that when you're low leveled in climbing and you're building that skill is going to be a more exciting, fun experience, I think, than just being able to instantly climb over new content. So it'd be pretty interesting to.
So let's assume that Black Rose Keep is going to be a low to mid level zone. Let's say 17 to 25.
Okay.
And your climbing skill caps out at a certain point at level 25. Let's further assume that you will be able to climb with some difficulty every vertical surface in that zone. Now, what happens when you come back at level 40? You should be able to climb all of those surfaces very, very easily. To keep climbing difficult as you level and that skill increases, are the vertical surfaces going to have to be taller and taller and taller? I mean,
Joppa actually just said that the surfaces themselves are very important to the equation. Like they've talked about like icy surfaces and different things like that may take play into it. And I wonder,
it's a big assumption. He's right. It is a big assumption. But again, I'm
of course.
off of, things like this. So yes, if they can sit there and say, yes, this is a surface, but it has other factors in it that would consume or require a higher skill, you can then keep the same vertical distance, but still require a higher skill. So you don't have a zone that needs to be 1,000 feet high just because everybody's skill is maxed out at 200 or whatever.
Vandra, don't worry. No matter what, just hold my rope. I got you, bro.
Vandra, I have a
I'll set
question.
the top end on fire.
Vandra, you and I talked before about. I know you were big on the website being updated. What did you think of the website update that they showed? Does that, sort of, what did expectations with regard to what you were hoping to see?
Where's that other shoe?
I may be setting you up to drop the other shoe.
I'm sorry. You set me up to drop that.
Showing it now as you talk.
Okay. It visually it looks a little bit better. Okay. However, my biggest issue with the current website is not how it looks. It is the lack of current information.
Well, that was commented on.
The fact that it is not the single repository for all information about this game. It doesn't have all the streams on. It doesn't have all the,
Wait a second.
And whatnot.
Vandrad, quit trying to ruin Pantheon.plus. We're trying to let us be something.
No, dude, that's all on you. Pantheon Plus is you. It's not everything else. People are coming here for you.
No, I'm talking about the website, Pantheon.plus. We're trying. Listen, we're gonna beat them. They have to have a standard website with all the good information to get people to pledge. Let us do the rest.
Exactly.
Wink, wink.
Again, it's the one-stop shop. If I want to know everything there is to know about Pantheon, I want to go to one place and have access to it. And when it's presented in a professional manner, that helps build and protect the It protects the IP. It protects people's interest. It builds the interest in the game. It protects VR from a lot of unnecessary criticism, some of which I know that I've leveled in the past. But I want to see it fleshed out with all of its amazing stuff, all of the old screenshots. Again, pull out all the digital concept art, throw that stuff up there.
The one thing I do want to say, because that was what I was thinking earlier, Theric, and I couldn't remember. One of the big points about the website is that they did say that the ability to quickly add content is going to be very easy now. So I'm hoping, Vandred, that one of the things you're worried about with like it being out of date and you're not seeing all the new streams they put out, and you're not seeing like the different new images that are put out. Like I'm hoping that line was there for a purpose. That like, guys, we know we haven't been able to put up the newest stuff quickly. And if that's going to change, and Ronick seems very confident about that as well. They're saying we may see exclusive Ronick content, which is I'm excited for.
Lots of corpses.
I'm very excited for exclusive.
One of the things that I wanted to see for sure with the new site that I didn't see as well, so I can sort of agree with you, Vandred, is hoping to see a bit more of a categorization, like a compilation of the lore that's there, like putting it all together in one place to make it readable. Like I want to read about the Tales from the Fire. I want to read the the Keepings of Castigu. I want to read this, like sort of laying it out so it's all accessible, a little bit cleaner.
Yeah, because the idea of the one-stop shop is going to get people into the game faster, get into the mindset, to become interested faster, and when they become interested faster, they're more likely to say, "This is something I want to support," and will put money towards it.
Yeah. I remember when they were showing it, I was definitely thinking of your critique, your criticism in the past, and they all been, you're always very honest about that. So I was glad that when they announced what this stream was going to be about, I was glad to see that on your behalf.
and the layout that they showed so far is a more professional looking presentation than what they currently have. But to me, it's going to come down to what is the content in it, and is it complete?
Yeah, still some work to do.
Yep. Yeah. All right, Vandred. Well, thank you, sir. And check out the amazing website, www.pantheon.plus, for all your up-to-date content and information from the content creator world. Thank you, Vandred, for the plug. I appreciate it. Have a great day, buddy.
Thanks. You the same. See ya.
See you, Vandred.
All right, let's go ahead and get Nefel in here. Guys, we'll get to you. So I appreciate the wait. Some of you guys have been waiting. I do apologize. Nefel, let's bring you in next, and we will make sure to get everybody in. Nefel, welcome, buddy. How are you?
Hey guys, how's it going?
Hey,
doing good, man.
Good.
Hey, how about you getting that shout out on one of the roundtables not too long ago about crafting? You gotta like that, right?
Yeah, it was nice to. So I'll let. Well, we get the VIP pledges, of which I am one, get the chance to sort of seed questions for the roundtables to help Kilson come up with like what the topic is going to be. And so that was a question that I had put in. I was really happy to hear Joppa answer that question, because I think it's important for everybody who's interested in crafting anyway, to really understand.
Yeah. And that's not NDA. So anybody worried, like they say that on the VIP roundtable that they take questions from the VIPs. There's nothing.
Yeah, that's not NDA.
Yeah. So, wow. Thank you to everybody who's subbing right now. We just had a bunch of people do that. And cheers. So thank you guys for that. Yeah. So, I mean, what did you think of this? How did it do for you? Everyone's waiting for pre-alpha 5 information, but Nefel, I mean, how did this live up, and what were some things that stood out?
So, I mean, PA5 will happen when it happens, and I'm glad that we're on track. I think the highlights for me, first of all, I really am very happy that they showed that new website, even if it's not quite ready to go live yet. The fact that it's real. We've been telling VR for years that they needed to update the website. So actually being able to see that was huge. That was a big deal, and it looks really good. And I honestly can't wait for it to be live. So that's the first thing that stood out to me.
I can't wait to get into that FAQ. I cannot wait to get into the FAQ.
Well, honestly, just having a platform that they can actually update, because one of the problems with the current website is that apparently it's like it takes an act of Congress to update the stupid thing. So like, just them being able to go in and add new stuff. That's a big deal.
Yeah. Yeah. They said it's way easier to do now. It's cumbersome. Like they said, the old one. I mean, it's 4 years old.
Ronick just said, "Don't get me started on the old site."
It must be like just torturous to try and update it like that now. So they can.
Yeah, it sounds terrible, but so I'm super happy to see the new website coming. But the other thing that was really cool, and I don't know if everybody caught it, because we spent most of the time talking about Black Rose Keep. But Joppa mentioned that they really took tester feedback to heart and expanded the scope and scale of the entire world, not just Black Rose Keep, but potentially other zones that we have seen as well. So, imagine, in streams we've seen Avenir's Pass, we've seen Throne Fast, we've seen Halnir's Caves, we've seen Black Rose Keep. Imagine all of those places getting looked at and saying, hey, how can we make these bigger? How can we make them support more players? Like that's important. I'm on a rant this week about sustainability, about making sure that your game will last beyond just its launch population. You think about it like from the standpoint that most of the most popular games out there right now are, 10 years old or even potentially longer. And a lot of that comes, they aren't perfect by any means, but a lot of that comes down to the fact that it's not just like shiny graphics that bring players in, it's also gameplay. And so from Pantheon's perspective, as a new game that's coming out, we need to be thinking not just about the people that are coming in at launch, but also the people that are going to be there over the long term. And having a big world is one of the biggest ways to make sure that your game is still sustainable, because it not only does it give you more space for people to spread out and discover things, so you keep those original players playing longer, but it also keeps players from starting to treat it like it's just a treadmill of content to be consumed.
Yeah.
So I am super happy to hear that the zones are getting expanded. I think I think it's a good thing. Black Rose Keep looks really awesome, and ideally it's going to just extend the lifespan of the game altogether.
Completely agree. Get there.
No, I was just going to say, I don't have much to add to that. I mean, you don't, you want to have places that you haven't been for a long time. Even you've been playing for the game for a year, 2 years, you still want there to be places you haven't seen, and I mean, maybe that's a little bit too long of a time frame, but the idea is I have something to do. I have somewhere to go that I still haven't seen yet. So I think that's important. I mean, there is the one caveat I'll say is you don't want it to be a big empty world. You want to have enough population to make it feel like, a zone is just not empty because there's just not enough people to go there all the time.
It's a great point.
Yeah, there's going to be stuff in it.
Yeah. So, but I agree with what you're saying for sure.
Just a quick bring up, because there's a great question from Anxiety666 said, climbing equipment, spiky boots, and Mission Impossible suction gloves. There will be equipment that will help for climbing. They've brought up the boots, for example, the spiked boots for cold areas and stuff like that that'll help with climbing and traction. So that will actually be in game from what we understand.
Yeah, and I think from what we know right now that climbing is going to be governed by a skill, and presumably there will be equipment that has modifiers to that climbing skill.
Yes.
Yeah. And I think what's interesting, and Nefel and Theric, you guys have been following the game longer than me, but I want to say that in my era of following the game is really when climbing became a thing, from idea presented out there to concept. That hasn't been extraordinarily long. So I think that in my time here, that's fully evolved to where it is. And I could be wrong about that. It might have been mentioned, but we've seen it, for example, evolve. I think when climbing was first shown, it was some of the negative things we heard about climbing was that it was gimmicky. That was a word that I heard a lot. That it's not going to be something people do a lot. It's kind of a gimmick. It's not. And I think that most of those people, I would assume, don't feel that way anymore, because with what we've seen from the Amber Fate stream, what we're seeing here, what we saw in the Perception storyline video, climbing is not a gimmick. It's a life in this game. It is a part of what's going to make Pantheon stand out. Do you guys agree with that, with what we're seeing? Are you more comfortable now with climbing than you were in the past?
Yeah, I think they've been cognizant of the fact that it's a new mechanic, that they're trying to make it a signature part of their game. So I think that knowing that, they've had to demonstrate it quite thoroughly. So that's why we've seen it more in recent times. I think the idea has always been there. I'm not 100% sure, going back to the sort of the early days of the development process, but I do think that they've really focused on it in more recent years, and at least the last 18 months, and really shown it. And because they have to show it if they want to be excited, or they want to make it a feature, they have to show why it should be. I think
It's definitely not tacked on for sure.
right.
No, it's not. Yeah, I'm trying to remember when they first started talking about climbing, and I think it was within the last 18 to 24 months. It wasn't that long ago. And I know when they first mentioned it, like a lot of people probably had flashbacks to like climbing in EverQuest 2, which is like, oh, okay, here's the special wall that you climb up, and
It's a good
it
point.
doesn't really mean anything. But yeah, being able to actually see it in action during those streams was really what clinched it. Like, wow, this is going to really change the way we approach the game, because it's not just like, oh, here's a ladder that you can climb up, but it's you can literally climb almost anything.
Yeah.
Well,
and that's where the only
amazing.
concern I have with what we've seen is that we're seeing it without limitations right now. I'm really excited to see it with limitations so we can understand the difference. Like, I would love to see a stream eventually where we have like two devs playing, and one is max climbing and you can see how he can climb, and then you have someone who's not, and seeing where they fall and where the difficulty lies for that person. I'd like to see that nuance a lot, because I think at this point I'm sold on climbing. Now I want to know more about how it works. I want to see it leveling. I want to see the difficulty. I want to see someone struggling, because right now we're just seeing everybody with max climbing skill with no issue, just climbing around stuff. And that's awesome. And I hope that we can all get to that, but I want to see the struggle a little bit more. And I think that that's going to paint a really good picture on how important this system is.
Give Minus all the details. He wants to know.
Come on, help me out. Help a brother out, Joppa. Ronick, let's go. Help a brother out.
But think about this, guys. So I'll leave you with this because I know we want to get to some other people. How many games have you played where you've seen people who make it their mission to climb up on top of things? Whether that's zone walls or buildings or anything else.
Top of a bank.
Think about that in the context of Pantheon now. Like, how are we going to enable that group of players to fulfill their dreams of climbing up on top of everything and make it a legitimate form of gameplay rather than something where they're just kind of inventing their own jump puzzles? I think it's kind of awesome.
Yeah.
That's a great point.
You know what's great about that? I've just determined that in some popular location, I'm going to find a building that I typically stand on. So if you're looking for Minus, you just kind of scope that building. Oh, he's standing up there. Like, that's going to be a new goal. I'm going to dedicate to a building that's difficult to get up. Well, Nefel, thank you, buddy. I really do appreciate it. I love having you on. I love how articulate you are with the game. Your knowledge level is extraordinary. And we always talk about the stuff you're talking about on the forums, on the Rewind. So I thank you for that as well.
Yeah.
Oh, no problem. I can't help myself sometimes. I get fired up about something, I have to write about it. So
that's awesome.
Hey, that's what we need more of. As long as people are willing to talk and listen, and I know you do that, then I think we'll be in a really good place. So thanks, buddy.
Yep. Cheers.
Thanks, guys.
All right, we got a few people left. You still feeling okay, Theric? You doing all right?
Yeah.
Hanging in there?
Fine, yeah.
Beer good?
Yeah,
Is
yeah.
the beer all right? All right, my beer's
gone,
gone.
but
Yeah, my beer's gone.
I can ration it.
Okay, let's go ahead and we will grab Essen. Essen's been in there for a while. So Essen, if you want to unmute your mic and your headset, get that rocking and rolling. As soon as I see that fade off, we'll bring you in. So Essen's coming in on the show. Essen, what is going on? How are you? Oh, he's not lighting up. I think he has the Erikai issue where his mic and muted, unmuted. Okay, Essen, fix it. Let us know in the chat when you're ready and we'll bring you back in the same we did with Erikai. Sorry about that. We'll bring you in next as soon as you can get it working. You can test it in the green room, make sure people can hear you. All right, so let's go ahead and bring in Clem, because he's been in there for a while as well. And Clem has been awesome in the chat. I don't know if you saw, he's been handing out subs and hyping people up, and I really do appreciate that. So let's bring Clem in. Clem, how are you?
What's up?
What is going on? First of all,
wow.
thank you for being so exciting in the chat, getting hyped up. getting people hyped up, handing out some subs. Really do appreciate that, buddy.
Oh man, dude, I'm so down for this game, dude. Yeah, it's crazy. Yeah, a lot of people call me fanboy, but hey, man,
Hey, you got to be a fan of something.
Fanboys, whatever, dude. We're all fanboys here. Who cares?
Vandrad's a fanboy.
I see it, man, and VR has gone above and beyond, man, to live out what Brad had envisioned, and man, just to watch it come to life is just it's amazing, man. I'm so proud of VR.
I love hearing that, man. What was some standouts from tonight? I mean, I appreciate your excitement so much. I mean, everybody knows, and I guess everybody's right. Everyone in chat's like, who's not a fanboy here? Yeah. We're spending all this time staying up late, chatting about video games. I mean, can life be any better, right? So what was it about tonight? What stood out for you? There was a lot. We saw the video, we saw the website, we had some good discussion about things. But when you walked away from tonight's dev stream, what stood out for you?
It's the same thing that I've always been talking about to other people, man, is that VR is very adamant on listening to the community. Their ears are to the street, man, and they take everything that we say to heart. They give a listen. They don't just shrug us off. They are very deep. When they say community matters, they mean it. I mean, and that's not just putting it out there. I mean, they really do mean that, man. And for a game to be community based, focused, the way they are, man, it's this game is gonna boom. This game is gonna skyrocket. I'm telling you.
There are times where Theric, I kind of get that feel too, right? We all want to I think in the community, the people that have been here for a bit, we want to be very careful with saying this is the next big MMORPG, because I think at the same time, a lot of us jumped in to say this is going to be a niche game. A lot of us have said that. I think even the devs have said we understand it might be a niche game. But the more and more I see, and I'm not going to get super into this, but I'm starting to really kind of feel like Clem there, that excitement level of you know what, when you show this game to your friends, obviously I'm doing it 24/7. People are like, what do you stream? Well, a game called Pantheon. Let me tell you about it. I literally should write a script, right? They need to keep the mindset. Yes, 100%. Essen just said they need to keep the mindset of it being niche, but that's what's probably going to make it appealing to more than a niche. Locking in, making the game. Oh, that's a great idea. Ghostman said I need to make business cards. I should. Have you heard about Pantheon? The old little flyers. I'll just stand out in Florida. I'll do a live stream with my phone of standing out in a mall, just handing out. Have you heard about Pantheon? And handing out flyers. That would be so much fun.
And the community, man, we have such a great community. We have a lot of smart, intellectual, bright, sensitive people. Guys, girls, whatever it may be, man, that put in their input to the devs, and which is creating this great this terminus, man, this great world that we're going to be able to explore. And I think that's awesome that every single community member that VR has put into our testing has taken this to heart, has the same concept, has the same perspective that VR has, in the sense of that, man, we have to this is our last, for a lot of us, this is our last MMO, man. I'm not saying my age, but
No, I'll say it. It's my last MMO for sure. I'm way too old to go down this road again. I hear you. I'm not gonna back off that.
You gotta do this right, bro. We have to do this right, man. So
I love how you said that, Clem. I love how you just said that, Clem. It's not just VR. We need to do this. We are all a part of this, and when community matters, that's so true. It's so true.
It's the community, bro. VR relies on us, and we are the ones who, and that's why I say, it's not gonna. I don't think it falls so much. If this game fails, it doesn't fall so much on VR as much as it falls on us, the testers, man.
There you go.
Yeah.
Dude, Clem, do not be a stranger, buddy. Please don't be a stranger. I hope we see you on a future episode. I loved having you in. I love your energy. I love the excitement. Joppa, you better be excited out there because Clem just got me more excited. And I didn't even know that was possible. So I think you might have just got Joppa and Ronak even more excited. I do believe
Rock
that.
on, man.
Thanks for coming on the show for the first time. Please don't be a stranger. Please come back on. We'll see you again. All right, man, take it easy.
Awesome, dude.
I loved his excitement.
Wow. I feel like invigorated. I was getting a little tired. It's 10:15. I was getting a little sleepy. Now I'm all ready to go again.
10:15? It's 11:15, Derek.
Time zones. That's how it works.
No, dude, I love it. And one of the things that you do really cool on the rewind is you bring up like the new player introductions, right? Mm-hmm. And it's so cool, man. Like
it's
to
like
get
community matters. It's not advertising,
Mm-mm.
like it's not advertising, and we all feel that. We all feel the genuineness of that. So.
And like, I can't say enough, like Theric, I mean, you're not you jumped into this project. You're a part of us now, and you're a partner of mine and a partner of Pantheon Plus. And, we've said it from the day one, like that's why we're doing this. And it's true. I mean, the things we spend about talking about this and a guy like him coming on the show, like that makes every show we've done worthwhile right there. And I'm not trying to be cheesy. I'm not trying to sound sappy. Like this is really how I feel. And I love it. I just love it. And I can't wait to get into Pantheon with people like that. And was everyone going to be as awesome as him? No, they're not. We're going to have those people. But you know what? It's okay because like one great person erases a lot of negativity, in my opinion. And the more we can have like that, and the community that we're here with is freaking awesome. So I love
100%, 100%.
Okay, stuff. we got a few more. Let's bring in. We got Skywolf, who changed his name. He used to be on the show. I'll let him introduce himself. Let's get Skywolf in. Oh no, I'm sorry. We got to get Essen in because he was fixing his mic. We'll get Essen in, and then we're gonna get Skywolf in, and then we'll get Tech Ninja in, and then we'll end up with Idiotech. But we're gonna have to go a little quick, guys, because I know Theric just heard a bunch of names. He's like, I'm gonna be here the rest of my life. So we're gonna go a little quick. So Essen, I'm bringing you in now. You can go ahead and unmute your mic and your headset, and we'll drop you down. So here he comes. Essen, what is going on? How are you?
Yo.
There you go. It was push to talk, huh? That's what got you.
I'm very smart. I'm very smart.
No problem. I've been there, man.
And speaking about those people, here I am. So I got 3 quick points. I'm just going to blow through them real fast because time is of the essence here. I was, first off, making 4 points. I was bummed out that no date was dropped.
Yeah. I didn't think there would be, and I saw that floating around a lot, and like, I didn't want to be the guy that's like, that's not going to happen, guys. So I just kind of sat back and I was worried. Yeah, no, I got what you're saying there, though. I definitely agree with that.
But then, like,
Joppa, you still have a chance. You're in chat. You still have a chance to win him over with a date right here, exclusive.
Send me a private tell. I'll send you something private too.
Oh, jeez.
So real quick, the climbing thing that got me really worried. But as I really, stopped to think about it, like skipping content is a good thing for dungeons that have multiple, levels. So level 17 guy goes in the front gate. Level 25 guy, he can just, instead of like going past this level 17 guy and just causing all sorts of problems, he just climb up the damn wall. He just skips the whole thing, and that's great.
Yeah, so like you want to camp something down low. There's an item you want, and you don't have to worry about that guy getting in your way. That's perfect. Yeah,
and plus it really like, so it used to be that the only way to do that was to have the boss at the very, very, very bottom. But now the boss can be at the top or the bottom because they can just skip right past the middle and not spend hours walking through old content for them. So that's awesome. I really like that. I also like how it gives the game kind of like a Metroid feel, how you can go back to old zones later and do content that you weren't able to do.
That's a great game reference, by the way. That's a great way to reference that. Well done.
Thanks. Like that. I like the cojones of the VR team to go back and just redo the whole Black Rose Keep zone. A couple people have said that. I thought the Black Rose Keep zone, from the videos that I watched, let me be clear about that. For the videos that I watched, I thought the Black Rose Keep zone was great as it was. I thought it was like a fort. It was nice. It was planned out nicely, very cool. But they came in and they just blew it up, and they didn't hold anything back.
Essen, did you see you just got a big shout out?
No, I'm not watching this.
Joppa just gave you a big shout out. He said, "Did Essen just say Metroid?" And he put in all caps, "Yes, yes." So there you go. You got a Joppa shout out.
Stop. I can only get so hard. Anyways.
Oh, that's why Pantheon PlusYou is amazing right there. All right. So I cut you off. What else?
I can't read what I wrote here, but I'll go back to the other one. So they're talking about like seeing how the players walk around and the paths they choose and stuff like that. And it's just a great idea, and it's smarter than you know. It's so I don't know if it's University of Maryland or Ohio State. I can't remember which one. But anyways, it's big green space. And when they were building the big green space, instead of just putting down the concrete, the sidewalks, this path goes here and this building goes to this building, they let it just stay green for like months at a time. And they saw and they watched where the students walked. And then they put the paths where the students walked. So if you look at it from above, it looks like a whole mess. But it's actually extremely efficient because it's what's used. It's what they do. And it looks like that's what they're doing in this game too. And that's just very, very smart. I really appreciate that.
That's incredible. It's true. Yeah. Like what they talked about with the choke points and through testing, seeing where people migrate to, how do they change that? How do they add mobs in certain areas if they need to? How do they, that's really well put. Awesome, man.
All right. Well, I'm going to go for a, what is it called? The hat trick here? The third one? I don't play soccer. I don't know what they do.
Third
okay.
One. Hockey.
Hockey, right. Hockey, soccer, lacrosse. They're all the same, right?
No.
Yeah, they are. I'm pretty sure. I do sports. Sports.
Yeah, we can't be friends.
He's Canadian, so
yeah,
hockey.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that too.
Anyway, continue.
So one last thing is the design of the Black Rose Keep Zone itself. I wanted to go back to this. They could have just put it on a mountainside and made it vertical, right? They could have just slapped it on the mountain, and that would have been great. That would have been cool. But instead, they put all these nooks and crannies and valleys and all sorts of stuff. And it reminds me of, so I write for a living, and I see what John Cleese does, the comedian for Monty Python. And he's got this writing method he calls like the tortoise pen. So if you don't know about husbandry design for tortoises, and let me just enlighten you on this. When you build a pen for a tortoise, you put lots of line of sight blockers in the way. So as a tortoise goes around, he doesn't know what's around the corner, and it's entertaining for him. It's interesting. So it's not so boring. And that's what they've done here. There's lots of line of sight blockers. You don't know what's around the corner. Could be a waterfall, could be a sleeping guard, could be, I don't know, a random boss. It could be anything. Anything could be down there. But then you've also got what Disney World does. And you go to any Disney park, they built every Disney park around one major landmark. So if you go to Epcot, it's the giant ball. Magic Kingdom's the castle. The movie one is the giant hat. And the zoo one is the giant tree, right? So in Black Rose Keep, you've always got the keep in the background. So you always have a point of reference of where you are. Not exactly, but you have a good idea of where you are. And that's just a great, great, great design. And that's all I got.
Dude, I love it. Because I guarantee you they've thought about some of that stuff. And you just hit the nail on the head, especially with talking about Disney World. Because I've done a little bit of research into that too, which is interesting that you brought it up. And I knew where you were going with that. So that's actually, I love it. I love the points. Great stuff. If you didn't know, Ronick says that Convo is their tortoise. Essen, thank you for fixing the mic issues and still sticking with us, man. Sorry that you had that little bit of a hiccup there, but please don't be a stranger. Come on back to our to another show. It's awesome talking, man.
Yeah, guys, keep it weird.
Take it easy.
Cheers, dude.
All right, we got a couple more. We got Idiotech. I'm bringing you in now, and then we'll bring in Skywolf, and then we'll bring in Tech Ninja, and that's going to wrap up the show tonight. So Idiotech, you're coming in now.
You were done, then it was.
What is up? We just interrupted your conversation from the green room.
Green room conversations.
What's going on, man?
No, listen, just enjoying life,
Yeah.
Coronaville, like
Nice.
just trying to stay safe and enjoy some streams when they come out,
Yeah.
What did you think of the stream?
Oh man, so I missed. So it's funny. I was watching you guys. Like I popped in here and then I started like listening to you guys, and you brought up the website, and everyone's talking about it. I was like, I didn't see the website, but I came like 8-10 minutes late to the stream.
Okay.
Right. So I didn't realize that the whole beginning of the stream they were showing the website. So I went back and looked at those. That was awesome. I liked how updated it looked. It definitely reflected the way the game looked now. I feel like people saw gameplay footage and then they went to the website and were like, oh.
Where do I find this?
This looks a little run down. Like it's just like a little older. And they're right. It's 5 years, the artwork and everything. They just didn't have everything up that they would want to show.
A couple interesting things about the website because we haven't focused as much on that. If you guys see the picture that's up on the screen right now, it's the news section. Did you notice the perception art is around the videos? Right?
Yeah.
And then and if you click on this one here, see the perception icon there at the bottom of the latest screenshot. So it is, and I think Ronick pointed this out, like with how they're rebranding the game, but you're seeing the branding of the world and the game in the website, and that's a nice touch. And I think that that's going to help people when they see that stuff in game if they do research on the new website. So I just want to throw that out there.
Yeah, man. So we were down there talking about the stream and kind of them bringing the world and trying to make it a little bit more expansive. And I think immediately when they started that video, I saw it. I was like, oh, okay. Like, this is going to be one of those places where you're going up hills and down into corridors, and it's going to leave more room. I think it's going to leave more room for us to discover things because the skill needed to climb certain areas is just going to be inherently going to cap what we can see at a certain time. So
yeah, and it's a great point. It's going to make you come back and come back and come back and come back.
Yeah, we'll
and instead of
experience this.
Yeah, and in other games, like there's zones that you go back to a lot. Like no, I'm bringing up WoW, but like I always like to go back to Dead Mines. It was a really long zone, and it was fun to like go back and wreak havoc because of all the pain that you were caused in there. But you did that because of experiences where you just wanted to like solo it. You wanted to like get back at them and like kind of re-experience it. This is a whole different thing. This is a whole different reason to go back to a zone. This is because you're literally going to learn more about it. You're going to expand your experience, which I don't think is. I don't know if I can think of any MMORPG. Maybe some zones in EverQuest to a very slight degree, but to this level where you're excited to come back later because there's more to learn and see. And I think that's exciting.
I loved that, I think EverQuest, much like Final Fantasy XI, which I played, had zones. There's places that you leveled at level 11, but you would be in that zone and zone into a cave. So it would be considered a part of that overall zone. And there'd be level like 25 mobs in there. And you're just like, oh, why? And it kind of gave, again, a reason to see people pass by that were level 20 something. If there's no other reason to come back to that zone, then it's just a dead zone full of level 11s to 15.
And that right there, what you said is we were talking about it earlier, Theric, that I want to play and just enjoy the game, right? I'm going to see that rogue go by with that sweet dagger and it's game over. I'm done. I'm now obsessed to leveling to get that guy's item that I saw, and that'll ruin my whole gameplay experience in a great way.
Yeah, or just see him just do a move. You see him do some move and you're like, oh, what is that? But
like, Theric, I'm sorry. I'm not going to be walking around with you checking out the world anymore. I need to go level. Have a fun life.
That's when I have to step in and do my take it slow intervention. No, you're staying here. Take a deep breath.
But,
meditate.
Yeah.
Idiots, anything else?
Well, I was just gonna say one thing that we brought up down there, and we started talking about a little bit is lighting. So they said somewhere that they were tuning the lighting, and that it might end up being less than this. But I know there's darkness in this game, so I wonder, like, we're seeing it here, but I wonder how dark areas and corridors will be versus light, because that could be another way they could make this, even more dangerous to traverse at night. Just be the ability to see the pats that are coming or whatever it is. So I really just liked the atmosphere that this zone had, and I hope they like play into dark in it.
I agree. Yeah. That is exciting. I'm excited to see that too, without a doubt. So awesome, man.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for hanging. Sorry the show's going a little later tonight, so you had to wait a little bit longer in there. But thanks for sticking around, man.
Dope. Yeah, I'm glad I can make it.
All right, and for those that don't know, he's been Idiotech's been following us for a long time. He's been on the show a bunch, and for a long time I called him Idiot EQ because of the way his name is spelled in Discord. And the poor guy never told me any different. So for like months, I was like, "Oh, here's Idiot EQ." You know
what? I had 20 years of using this name and hearing, it's like, "Oh, you did that play because you're like your name." Like, I don't know, whatever. Cool.
Yeah. All right, man. Thank you again, buddy. Take it easy.
Catch you guys later. Thanks.
All right, we got Skywolf. Then we're gonna finish up with Tech Ninja. Skywolf, ready when you are. Drop your mic and your headphones. And then we're eventually let Theric get back to his life. Become Skywolf. What is going? I mean, do I call you Skywolf now? Like, what's the proper etiquette? What do you've changed your identity? What would you like me to call you?
Skywolf is fine. I had to change it because I'm on a bunch of Discords that are also part of my business, and
Okay.
I do microgreens, and so I'm part of that community now, and so I decided to take my brand and also make it my gamer tag.
All right.
Little
I'm
weird, but
Skywolf works for
it's
me.
easier to keep it all together.
So what's up, man? It's been a while. What'd you think of the stream?
I thought it was really good. I really liked the gray boxing aspect of it because rather than just thinking of what I was going to fight next, I thought about how am I going to traverse this world, or I kind of got this daydream of, okay, you're a higher level or a lower level and you don't necessarily want to fight that day, but say Theric, he can track a unit, he knows where it is on the wall.
He doesn't know
something's
where
hard to
anything is.
traverse.
I just want to
You
be
can
very
drop
clear.
a rope. Well, that's to be said, I think. It hasn't come out yet.
I'm sorry, I couldn't resist. Go ahead. So I could drop a rope. Sorry, I interrupted. I was bad.
Oh, you're fine. You're fine. But like Theric, if he's tracking something on one of those walls, and say you as a rogue wants to drop a rope and help somebody get up somewhere, and then say there was a druid that could make an extension bridge to something closer. In that time, you've just taken a group that is a limited amount of people, and you've gotten 3 other people to help you in this world to get to something faster. That adds an element of gameplay that, okay, we don't have to necessarily go fight today. Let's go make a buck and help people save 2 hours. That's
Like just make a. Oh my gosh, that would be
that's
so
a whole
cool.
other world.
Yeah,
A 3-man group of, hey guys, looking to skip. We'll pave the way. Just hold on to Minus's rope. Trust him.
No
Pay
problem.
first.
What a great.
Theric will show you where it is. This druid will save you a half an hour of grinding to get over a wall.
Yeah, that's the kind of emergent social gameplay that this game's gonna live and die on. Like that is such a great example because, people do talk about, well, I'm older now. I don't have 4 hours to grind through a dungeon. Well, hey, there's some social, interaction that you can do. You can seek out your fellow players to meet your needs. Your actual real life needs, because you don't have 4 hours. You have 2 to play. You want to camp this one spot. You can't get there. Take a long time to get there one way. Get my buddy, my ranger, rogue, and whatever buddy to help me get to this spot in a quicker way is really good point.
I love that. Thinking of like this group going around, just quality of life and for people. It's good. It's awesome.
Or say you have a group that their climbing skill isn't necessarily there yet. You can have Minus climb up to the tower, drop a rope, and that group can now camp that tower.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that kind of thing adds the element that I think a lot of people are looking for in a game like this.
Really well said, man.
That's a great point. No one's kind of like, I think we've thought about that, but like, I don't think anyone's put it together so elegantly that I've got to hear it like kind of fleshed out like that. And it kind of makes me really excited. And I will definitely climb up and pull people up unless you're an elf. Otherwise, you're going to have to find your way around. So if you hang out with elves, it's your own fault. Sorry.
Joppa, just put a quest in the game that makes Minus have to deal with elves to an ability he never wants to.
Watch like some future day, like I'm going to see her do something in an alpha or something, and you have to play an elf. Like, oh no. Streaming that, it's going to be horrible. People are going to be like harassing me for the rest of my life at that point. Well, Skywolf, thank you, buddy. Thanks for waiting around. Good luck on your company. And don't be a stranger, man. Don't be a stranger.
Thank you. Thanks, y'all.
Take care, man.
All right, last guest of the night. Long night. Awesome chat tonight. Awesome attendance. We got Joppa and Ronik hooking us up with some comments and talking to the community, which I love. We got sweet video. We have pre-alpha coming. I mean, it's a good night, and we're going to wrap it up with Tech Ninja, who I've been talking a lot with. So Tech Ninja, unmute your mic. We're going to go ahead and bring you down into the live room if you're still there. So there it is. And we're bringing in Tech Ninja to wrap up the show tonight. Tech Ninja, what's up, man? How are you?
Dude, I'm doing real well. Thank you for getting me in here. I appreciate that.
Yeah, without a doubt, man. We've been talking quite a bit recently just about everything Pantheon. So I'm happy to have you. Thanks for coming on the show. And especially thanks for waiting so long, man. Appreciate it.
Oh, dude, gentlemen, honestly, you present the red rug, and we're all gracious to walk upon it. So,
Nice.
how it goes, that's what it is.
Nice.
So what'd you think of
I
the
wanted
stream?
to
Yeah.
say earlier though, you've got shiny object syndrome. I know exactly about that. That's why I have many alts myself. When something looks good, I want to play that character. I'm going for it 100%. And sometimes that means I'm missing out on the night's adventures, but alts are where it's at.
You got to follow your heart. Yeah, you got to follow your heart. I know you're a storyteller, and you want to have as many stories on the go at one time as you can, if I'm guessing.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
See, for me, like I played a wizard in EQ until I saw a monk. And the monk was hitting like rapid speed with 2 sticks. I was like, this is sick. Dropped my wizard right then and there. Made a monk. It was amazing. Got a fungi tunic, FBSS. I'm hitting like crazy. And then I saw a bard run by with lambent armor. And I'm like,
new shiny.
It's very shiny. I need it. So yeah, 100%. Oh yeah. Master Wu's trans sticks all day. Soul Spite. Yes. But yeah, definitely see shinies and see something cool. And I want it for sure.
I mean, you look at what we saw this evening, and if this is what we see here, we only saw a little bit with the Spriggans and Project Fairtail. How dense is that zone, right? So we see the gray boxes here. We saw the completed animations over there. I'm just, I'm blown away. I know what I can expect. I know what I should expect at this point, but I won't get too greedy. I can't wait for Public Alpha 5, and I can't wait till what they provide with streamers input as well, like they have in the past.
It's just so nice to see the trail that they've gone down and the trail that they're heading down, and that if you judge from the past, you look to where it's headed in the future, you think it really inspires confidence. And it's like you said, and we brought it up earlier too, is seeing the Black Rose Keep gray box comparison to the Fairtail finished sort of quote unquote finished product inspires a lot of confidence.
Yeah, I mean, I could see myself falling off a log looking for a perception quest and dying just as much as I could see myself climbing up to get to Black Rose Keep over there. So the biggest question I've had all night, you've probably seen me spam it, was like, well, how am I getting my corpse back? Like I know that I'm a dutz when it comes to getting myself from A to B and watching my bars. So I know I'll fall off a wall. Inevitably, I'm going to fall off the wall. I know it's going to happen. How do I get my corpse back? How do I get my stuff back? Hasn't been answered yet.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's a whole nother kettle of fish, right? The whole corpse run mechanics.
Yeah.
I mean, we could do a whole show. We have done whole shows on that, but well, it's like we said what we were just saying before a second ago, it's that emergent gameplay and using your group mates, using your friends, using the people in the zone with you to help you with that kind of thing.
Can I like rope corpses? Like if I'm up on a mountain, can you give me permission to drag your corpse and I can like throw my rope and like try to like get part of your body and like cut my rope so I can pull your body up? That'd be sweet.
I never thought about
little
that.
rope using like put a little like hook on the end of the rope so I can just stab your corpse with it and just pull it up a mountains. You're already dead. You're not feeling it. It's okay. You already got stomped or crushed from falling off a cliff. I'm just helping. So a little hook. Yeah.
I don't know if I want to allow you to do that to my corpse, man. I don't think I'll slash allow that shit.
No slash consent to minus.
Yeah, maybe. So Skywolf said, only if someone hooks the rope. Yeah, so maybe, corpse fishing. Could it be? I'll level.
That's awesome.
I will level fishing if I can corpse fish.
Goodness gracious. No, all right. So I'll give corpse fishing for rogues as long as I can get corpse fishing for druids. I'm
completely fine with it. Someone's gonna have to save all the elves, and if you're a druid, you're probably an elf. So
I don't think rogues should get all the glory.
Dude.
Yeah, somebody always gets mad at me in my chat, like in the YouTube videos, always like, "Oh, rogues get everything," because Minus is talking about rogues again. It's like, well, that's exactly how.
You got to balance the horde.
If I'm not going to stand up for rogues, who will? Who will?
Say it again.
I said, if I'm not going to stand up for rogues, who will? Right. So
fair enough. Looking at all we saw, even with the gray boxes this evening, even with Black Rose Keep, I gotta look how the closest Sanctum's gonna be. I could only imagine at this point, and I'm I'm very anxious to see what we've seen with the lore and how that compares to what they've put into the gameplay and the even with the gray boxes at multiple times through the streams that they allowed us to see. I'm very hopeful, and I just I can't wait to see it all happen.
Yeah,
Can't wait to be there myself. And
We've got stories to create, stories to tell, right?
Yeah.
Well, Tech Ninja, thank you, buddy. Thank you for wrapping up the show, and thanks for sticking on. And first time coming on, I do appreciate it, buddy. And don't be a stranger. We hope we see you on a future episode of Pantheon Plus You.
For sure, buddy.
Take it easy, man.
Thank you very much.
Well, Theric, awesome night. Community's rocking and rolling. I had a lot of fun tonight. It was a little bit longer of a show, so I do apologize to those watching. We're at about an hour 50 after a stream. So it kind of flew by, though. For an hour 50, that flew by pretty quick.
A lot. So much excitement, it energizes you. It energizes me, at least, to keep this show going. And 2 hours, like you said, flew by, right?
Yeah, it really did. So thank you to everybody for watching. I'm not going to keep anybody any longer. Thank you to Joppa and Rone for being part tonight and interacting with the community. That's what it's all about. It's not talking to us. It's just you guys having fun with the community, and chat there is awesome. And it really goes back to what was said quite a bit tonight. The community does matter. Pantheon believes in that in the development, and we as a community as well. So thank you incredibly to everybody who is part of making this show work. And we hope, if you haven't been on the show live with us and come into the green room to chat, try it out. It's not so bad. I promise you have a lot of fun. Thank you to everybody who followed, who I haven't been able to mention to, and thank you to everyone who's handing out subs and all the awesome stuff you guys are doing. I really appreciate it so much. Have a great night. Theric, thanks again for being my partner in crime here and taking all the notes. That was huge. So I appreciate it. And everybody, will see you. We'll announce it, but remember, Pantheon Plus You about 2 times a month, and we'll give you a heads up on the next topic. It will be our 40th episode. So spoiler, I'm going to try middle of next month to get a community stream going. Let's get a bunch of content community creators on, do an open forum for everybody, chat about life, chat about Pantheon. We'll see what we can do there. Maybe we'll get Bazgrim and Nathan and all those guys on and try to have some fun. So thank you to everybody. Have an amazing time. Theric, thanks again. And we'll see you guys on the Rewind this Sunday.
Night.